Hi everyone, my name is Narita Reyes-Eco. I currently work for the city of Coquitlam and I'm very excited to be here today. Thank you.
My turn. So my name is Zheng Wu Jingting and I'm come from China and now studying Politecnico di Milano of Italy.
Ahora continúo yo. Bueno, mi nombre es Enrique Galvez, soy estudiante de arquitectura aquí en Lima y también estoy muy contento de poder participar en esta entrevista.
Awesome, guys. So I would like to know, first of all, how you heard about this competition, what's the name of the competition and just everything about it. Like you heard about it through social media, through friends, or how come?
I can start this off. So I ended up hearing about this competition through the IAKS, which I follow on their social media. They put out this competition for students and young professionals to encourage them to do more for the practice in architecture, and I decided to apply. And my project takes place in Vancouver, Canada, where I am from.
Sang, would you like to follow?
Yes. And for me, it is from some Chinese website, because we have some websites, they will transform the news from the other country about the competitions of the world. So I saw it on, and then I checked the details and I find my project. Actually, I already do some works on my project before the competition, and I find it's super suited for the project to develop, and then I decided to take part.
Okay. En mi caso, yo me enteré del concurso cuando en el 2019 asistí al congreso en Colonia. Una arquitecta que es miembro del grupo había ido a competir con sus estudiantes. Entonces fue ahí que me percaté de que los chicos de México, que fueron del país que concursaron, habían estado allí en la ceremonia y yo no sabía del concurso antes. Y dije, bueno, voy a investigar un poco más de cómo puedo aplicar, y fue así como me enteré.
And was this online, or was it like you had to go to somewhere? Where did it take place?
Yo en el 2019 sí asistí presencialmente a Colonia, al congreso.
And what about you guys? Was it like an online thing, or did you have to go somewhere and travel?
We all went in person. They flew us out over to Cologne, Germany, and we got to meet each other in person, and it was an absolutely fantastic experience. And I'm very glad I met these two.
Yes, I'm very happy that we can be attended the conference and also meet with each other. Because before that, if I'm not studying in Europe, I think it will be very hard to travel from China during this COVID-19 situation. A good news is I'm already in Europe, so it's very easy to fly from Italy to Germany.
So I guess it was like a breath of fresh air for you guys to like get out of your countries and be able to travel and meet a lot of people from everywhere, because right now I think we're all like in our houses and super bored, and we just want to get out and get back to our normal selves and our normal activities.
Definitely.
And going back
Era
to
lo que necesitábamos en esta pandemia.
Definitivamente, sí. And going back to the competition, what was the prompt? Like, what was what did you have to do? Like, what were the instructions? What was the prompt?
I think I can start this one off a bit, but basically the idea was to build a recreation center or something along the lines of that, as the hosts of this competition was the International Olympics Committee, Paralympics Committee, and the IAKS, which are all in the recreation sector. So they wanted to advocate for these kind of developments and reached out to the world to see what they could come up with.
And let's not forget that we're here with 3 winners, right? We haven't covered that yet, but all of you won some prize in this competition, right? I think Sang, you won first place, right?
Yes.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What about you?
Yes.
I'm sorry. You can go on.
So the prompt is the first purpose of me to do this design actually is when I started the design, it's not this competition. My purpose is I want to provide some proposal to the local government to prompt them to do some things with the roadway will be abandoned. So I started my research and also do some design. But because of the lack of our local situation, there are quite lack of sports area. So it's most of the sports area and also for the lecture things. And after that, when I see this competition, I thought, okay, I'm so lucky that they are flexed with each other, and I find it's good to take part in this competition. And after that, when I win this competition, so I think it's a good chance to introduce to the people from my hometown, and also to attract them to focus on the roadway will be abandoned in my place.
You took advantage of that, of your situation and your country. And so you guys want to start with the interviews, like the one-on-one interviews? Narita, we're going to start with you.
Sounds good.
Can you tell us a little bit about your project?
Yes, so my project is called the Granville Gateway, and this kind of came about because recently in the city of Vancouver, Canada, we've had this recent surge of green transportation. And when I talk about green transportation, I'm referring to, we have this thing called the SkyTrain, which is our rapid train that goes around the Lower Mainland. We have now these kind of pop-up places where you can rent bikes and scooters. Those are showing up everywhere. And then we also have a lot of new installed greenways, which the city has really been advocating for. So I'm very lucky to live in such a green city. On top of that, because of all these surge of green transportation methods, we're seeing a very sharp decline in the use of cars. With this sharp decline of cars, we're getting a lot more of these empty vacant lots. So what my project does, it looks at two parking lots along Granville Street in Vancouver, and it connects them and these adjacent green spaces to kind of become this recreational hub and socialization space for the city of Vancouver and its residents.
And you're talking about reclaiming existing structures. So what value do you see in reclaiming existing structures, like unused structures, opposed as to building something from the ground?
It's a great question. I think it really depends on, when you look at a project, it's case by case. So in my case, what it was is that we're having these empty lots that are showing up everywhere. And the thing is that they're actually still in decent condition. It's just that they're not getting utilized. And I think what this project really wants to do, and it's much more of a conceptual project, but it wants to take advantage of those spaces, because getting outside as much. And there's these great opportunities where there's these spaces that are kind of they're leftovers of the space. They don't look right, and people aren't attracted to them, and people don't want to go and visit. So this really wants to reclaim and revitalize those lots and bring people in, encourage people to participate, go outside, do outdoors things, and do things together. Because I think right now, with the situation we're in, we've realized that, with COVID-19, what we need is human interaction, and we're not getting that because everything is unfortunately, it's becoming more virtual, which has its blessings. But this really wants to take a look into this specific case. But sometimes I will say that for the economics, it can be more cost efficient to stick with a structure and renovate instead of doing a full new development, just because right now we do have very high construction costs. I think that's something that the world is facing, and suppliers around the world are having issues getting their shipments. So it's great to make use of what we have in a current situation.
And we're also running out of space in some cities, right?
We are, we always are, especially with the dense, high populations, right?
Right. And in your case, it was a parking garage, right?
Yes, it was.
So how did you manage to because the parking garage has a very specific structure, right? Mm-hmm. So how did you tackle this? How did you accommodate this existing structure to another function that you were going to implement in this already existing building?
I will say that my project is, I'd like to kind of emphasize that it is very much it's a conceptual idea. I think it'd be very difficult and to translate this kind of idea into the real world. But I think what's important and what to get from it is that there are these opportunities to look at a structure, look at its bones, and see what that can offer. Because things don't necessarily have to be a big, grand space. I think some of the most interesting spots are just temporary pop-up structures that create little pockets of life. And you see this coming up more and more, once again, with COVID-19, where you have these small little pop-ups of social outdoor play. It doesn't have to be anything that's, it doesn't have to be a full tennis court or a full multifunctional big place. It could just be those small opportunities to get active and to socialize.
And you talk about creating this like pockets of life. And I think Sang also mentioned earlier that we're missing these spaces where we can like socialize between our communities. Like in my case, for instance, I think I don't even know my neighbor's name. And
Yeah.
That's not okay. That's exactly the problem, because we don't have these spaces to socialize and to like encounter with one another. So what do you think is the importance of this kind of places of leisures and just entertainment? What importance do they convey and how this affects the population?
I think that with these places and with architecture in general, one of the main goals is to connect with the users. That's one of the biggest and primary things that I think all architects strive for. But I think going a step beyond that is connecting these users, not just to the facility, but to each other. Because like you said, it's hard to meet neighbors, and architecture can be this great way and a foundation and a hub where you can have these people be brought together and to do things together. Because I think as we grow older, we need activity within our life, not just within ourselves, but with other people, because obviously that leads to a longer lifespan. And also it makes you happier, and who doesn't want to be happier?
Yeah, it does. And what inspired you to do this?
This project was very much inspired from the COVID-19 pandemic, and I think just this complete desire to want to be outside and to socialize. I think that, even though I did this in the confines of my room and just was typing on my computer, I think it's great to kind of imagine a world that's going to be after post-pandemic, and to see what those opportunities and the opportunities that we've learned from where we're in right now, and to see how that's going to play out in the future. So for me, I'm just really hoping that this project can inspire more of those kind of outdoor play and social ideas.
I'm sure it will. And hopefully we'll see the world come back to normal sooner rather than later, because it's been like 2 years now. I think we're all striving for normality again.
I know, 2 years, and I'm ready for it to be done, but I'm sure everyone else is too.
Well, thank you very much, Karina, for all your insights. And I think we got like pretty cool quotes from you right here. Some things you said. We're gonna quote you definitely. So be prepared to see some of your quotes in our page later on. We're gonna
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm gonna have to head out to my meeting, but guys, it was so amazing to see you. I really miss your faces, and I really hope to visit Enrique and saying I'm coming right after the pandemic.
Don't worry. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Have a great one, guys. Bye.
Bye.
See you again.
See ya.
Okay, Sang. So now you're gonna have to pardon me. We're gonna switch languages. I'm sorry for this. We're going to go back to Spanish with Enrique so our followers can understand this better. Enrique, vamos contigo. Así que cuéntanos un poquito el premio que ganaste, un poquito sobre tu proyecto también.
Ok. Bueno, el Centro Deportivo de Moyobamba surgió por la idea bueno, más que una idea, es la necesidad de que hay actualmente una infraestructura deportiva y recreacional en la ciudad de amazónica de Moyobamba. Entonces, esa fue principalmente lo que yo tenía en mente, de que cómo puedo yo llevar todo el tema deportivo a un lugar en el cual no lo tienen. Y lo que yo tuve de la idea fue hacer un modelo que pueda ser replicado, ¿no?, en la región del Amazonas. Y bueno, el diseño se inspiró en lo que vendría a ser las formas de las orquídeas, porque Moyobamba tiene una gran variedad y es muy conocido por este tema. Y también lo que yo quería llevar con el proyecto es que el deporte en sí, en nuestra realidad como país de Perú, no está muy inculcado desde nuestra corta edad, ¿no? En lo que vamos creciendo, lo cual sí está en otros países, y básicamente el deporte para nosotros es lo mejor que podríamos hacer desde los inicios de nuestra edad y hacerlo un estilo de vida, ¿no? Entonces, eso es lo que yo quería hacer con el proyecto, de tener un espacio de dimensiones a una menor escala para que pueda ser usado principalmente por los jóvenes y niños, para que ellos tengan como que ese bichito, ese primer acercamiento a lo que vendría a ser un estilo de vida saludable.
Ujú. Y mencionas que tú planteaste un proyecto que era replicable, ¿no? Entonces, considerando que estamos nosotros en un país del tercer mundo o en vías de desarrollo, ¿qué beneficios podría traer un modelo replicable a nuestro país?
Esa parte de que somos un país del tercer mundo es muy importante, porque el tema económico es muy delimitante en lo que se puede construir o en lo que se está pensando hacer. Entonces, al serlo replicable y teniendo en cuenta la parte económica, tendría que ser un módulo de unas dimensiones pequeñas, a una menor escala, que no signifique un gran desembolso, ¿no?, en esa parte, y eso no sea un limitante, lo cual en la actualidad sí existe. Y bueno, eso es algo que se podría considerar un valor del proyecto, el bajo costo. Y en la parte social, como ya lo mencioné, que vendría a ser el- esta parte del legado que se dejaría del proyecto para que pueda ser el primer acercamiento a los jóvenes en practicar un deporte, ¿no?
Ujú. Y un modelo replicable, es verdad, ¿no? Trae muchos ahorros también económicos y la rapidez también de la construcción. Eh, pero también deberíamos considerar que siendo un país tan diverso, nosotros con tantos tipos de climas, de contextos en general, ¿cómo harías tú para afrontar ese problema? Es decir, para un mismo modelo replicable, poderlo replicar en diferentes regiones de repente y acomodarlo a cada una de ellas, ¿no? Acomodándose al clima de cada región, a las condiciones que tiene. ¿Cómo tú afrontaste este reto, en tu caso, en Moyobamba?
Claro. En Moyobamba, cómo afrontar el entorno en el cual va a estar situado la edificación es simplemente el diseño. Entonces, teniendo un diseño, en este caso yo opté por la forma circular, ya que es la que mejor se comporta ante un entorno frente a los vientos, frente al asoleamiento, es esta forma circular. Entonces, ya iniciando básicamente desde la forma, ya es un agregado, o sea, es una parte que se va a comportar mejor en todos los ambientes. Luego, partiendo de que el proyecto es de un solo nivel, es mucho más, no, por decirlo así, no es tan complejo la construcción y en un solo nivel. De esta manera podría ser llevado y que se comporte de una manera adecuada tanto en un entorno de calor y humedad como es la selva, o también en un entorno de la costa, por decirlo así.
Y tu proyecto albergaba distintos usos, ¿no es cierto? Era de uso mixto, ¿verdad?
Exacto.
¿Y cómo tú crees que se beneficia la comunidad, las personas, los usuarios, incluso el edificio en sí, al ser de un uso mixto, en oposición a aquellos que albergan una sola actividad o que están destinados a una sola cosa, ¿no?
Ok, esa parte es muy importante porque mucho se ve, lo hemos presenciado ahora en la pandemia, de que los estadios, que es lo que principalmente en Perú se tiene como que imagen de infraestructura deportiva, de frente te vas a un estadio. Que los estadios en sí, si tú vas a hacer una inversión fuerte para tener a esa gran escala, no lo vas a usar una vez al año solo para un partido, o lo vas a usar 2 o 3 veces. Entonces, el uso que van teniendo ya los espacios en la actualidad es muy variado. Y muy aparte de ser un espectáculo deportivo, también hay espectáculos de recreación, vendría a ser un concierto, y lo que se ha visto ahora en la pandemia es que son espacios en los cuales se han utilizado para la vacunación, lo cual no se había visto antes, y es principalmente por las dimensiones y que ya está construido. Entonces, esta parte de la flexibilidad en los usos es muy importante, ya que construir algo para que solamente se use unas cuantas veces al año no es muy sostenible, que digamos, en el tiempo. Y lo que yo quería hacer en el proyecto es de que se use todo el año, teniendo estos diferentes usos, que dentro de ellos tenían el deportivo, en el cual comprende lo que es el gimnasio, la piscina, la parte del escalaje, lo que es el atletismo, el ciclismo, y también otras dos partes que vendrían a ser dos pilares, que vendría a ser la parte de la conservación de las orquídeas, como un área específica, que es un plus distinto, y también la parte económica, que vendría a ser la cafetería que está incluida dentro del proyecto.
Es interesante porque creo que ahí lo que mencionas y tus ideas, las ideas que tienes, están un poquito en sintonía con lo que hacía Narita, ¿no? Y con el mismo proyecto de Narita, que habla un poco de lo mismo, de volver a reutilizar un espacio que de repente estaba destinado a otras funciones. Bueno, divergen un poco en el sentido de que ella estaba reutilizando un espacio que inicialmente era para carros, no era un estacionamiento, y ahora lo está transformando a algo de entretenimiento, y tú vas un poco más por el lado de converger distintas actividades en un solo edificio. Pero creo que finalmente la idea, el corazón de la idea es la misma, ¿no? Es el poder tener una sola infraestructura que albergue más de una función, es decir, algo multifuncional, y que además creo que eso evita que al final esos edificios se conviertan como en elefantes blancos, ¿no? Que al final se usan unos años y luego se quedan abandonados en la ciudad, se vuelven poco atractivos y la gente los deja de usar. Así que creo que eso es algo muy valioso del proyecto, y definitivamente algo que se debería hacer más en el Perú y, bueno, y en el mundo, ¿no?
Bueno, en nuestra realidad, creo que lo más cercano que hemos tenido a la actualidad es los Juegos de Lima 2019, ¿no? De que se construyó bastante infraestructura deportiva que bueno, vino la pandemia y no se ha podido utilizar de la manera que se deseaba, pero ya está construido. Y al menos en Lima ya se está acaparando o ya se está pudiendo tener un lugar donde nuestros deportistas puedan estar. Pero si hablamos fuera de Lima, que es algo que siempre se ha tocado, la centralización de nuestra capital, al menos comenzar con el proyecto que yo estoy presentando, que sea un módulo a una escala más pequeña, pero que sea replicado, es tener diversos lugares, infraestructuras que puedan aportar a una misma dirección, que hay que comenzar con algo, ¿no? Desde lo más pequeño para ya luego poder proyectarse a cosas más grandes.
Y por último, ¿qué te inspiró a ti para ese proyecto en específico?
Lo que me inspiró en ese proyecto fue en que en la Amazonía, que a mí me encanta mucho el tema de la naturaleza, dar la oportunidad a que otras personas puedan practicar el deporte. Si bien es cierto, uno puede practicar el deporte ya, voy a salir a correr, porque correr no necesitas una pista de atletismo para correr, ni para otro tipo de actividades, pero sí es necesario en ciertos casos tener la infraestructura. Y bueno, mucho ahora en este siglo, digamos que los jóvenes ya no tienen ese como que apego, ¿no?, al deporte. Ahora se la pasan en los celulares, en las laptops, pegados a los aparatos tecnológicos, y están dejando mucho de lado el tema deportivo. Y eso se refleja en los índices de obesidad que están habiendo en niños a sus cortas edades. Entonces, esto de acá es muy importante porque ellos son aquellos que van a ser las nuevas generaciones, y el deporte es un derecho fundamental del hombre. Y nosotros, es nuestro deber poder brindar esta infraestructura como países o desde nuestra propia perspectiva como arquitectos, a una arquitectura donde pueda uno desarrollar toda esta actividad.
Genial. Y de hecho me parece que en Perú un poquito que cada día más se está haciendo hincapié sobre ese tema, ¿no? Si de repente no a tan gran escala, sí, cada vez vemos más distritos que están incorporando estos como gimnasios al aire libre o esos espacios más seguros para correr. San Borja es un muy buen ejemplo de un distrito que se está esforzando
Sí.
muchísimo por el deporte y por atraer a la gente a hacer deporte, sacarla a las calles, al aire libre de manera segura, ¿no?
Sí, eso es lo que muchos se está viendo ahora y es donde nos hemos dado en la pandemia cuenta de que es esta necesidad que nosotros tenemos de simplemente salir, respirar aire fresco, poder correr un poco y nos chocamos con que no hay el lugar, no hay el lugar apropiado. Y eso ha sido algo positivo, digamos, de la pandemia para que algunas municipalidades aquí en Perú inviertan y apuesten por proyectos para practicar el deporte.
I want to thank Enrique for being here and giving us this insight of his project and just walking us through all of his ideas and how he managed to accomplish this. And also I want to congratulate him because he also won second place in this competition, right, Enrique?
Sí, más bien agradecerles a ustedes por la invitación y el espacio que nos dan a nosotros para poder compartir estas ideas que tenemos.
No, thanks to you. Gracias a ti, Enrique, por estar aquí con nosotros. And now we're going to go with Seng, who was the winner of this competition. He's the famous star architect we have here today with us. And Seng, we'd like to start by telling us a little bit about your project.
Okay. So for the original reason why I started my project is that there is a roadway passing through the city center of my hometown. And actually in the start 18 years of my life, I crossed the roadway one time. So I think it's a very touching thing of my life. And this roadway will be in the government plan. It will be relocated to the suburb in the future. So as a result, we got a vacant space that can be transformed to some other functions in the future. And I find in my hometown, the city, because it's not a very developed county of China. So I find there are a lot of problems like lack of public space, lack of varieties of the commercial. So I find it's a good chance to use this place to update the people's life of the city. And my proposal is trying to use this place to design a hybrid sports park and also with more multi-functions inside.
Mm-hmm. And I think since it was a place that was so close to your heart, since it was your home, I think maybe that's one of the reasons that, apart from being an incredible design, of course, because I saw it, I think maybe one of the reasons that you won, maybe it's because it was your home. So I think that when we're working at home and we have that that feeling towards a place, I think we can come up with such much more complex ideas and developments. And in your case, you said to me that you were using a space that was a leftover space from the railway, right? Because there used to be a railway there. So do you think that urban voids like this, if left untouched, are they damaging to the city?
For my project, and also I think it's some part common situation in most of places in China, that the vacant space, they are not the reason, they are not the problem. Actually, on the contrary, they are the chance. Because as we all know, China has the biggest population of the world, and also the life density of China is super high, especially in some city areas. So that if you can got a vacant space, especially in the downtown, it's a very good chance to transport to some other functions. And also it's a good chance to help the people to get better life, especially you want to use this place to act as a green space or some basic facilities for the local people. the public.
I love that. So you're the kind of person that sees the glass half full, because you told me it's not a problem, it's a chance. And
Yes.
we're gonna quote you on that too, because I love that. It really touched me. That's one way of seeing a problem, right? Seeing it as a chance. And I think all of us should do that more often, because if we did that, then maybe we wouldn't have so many problems in our cities if we start seeing them as opportunities instead of problems. And you're totally right about that. So your project is a hybrid, you told, between a park and sports. So how do you think the lack of sports and leisure activities affect the city, or specifically your city?
I think in my city, the biggest problem is that the quality of the local people's life, because as we all know, everybody needs to have enough sport to help them to keep health. And also in my city, we have a lot of old people and also many patients, because as you know, through the place along the roadway, there are the biggest hospital of my city. So in that place, the people really need the sports area and also the lecture place. Otherwise, they will get not so healthy. So that if in a long term, if the residents can get the good place for their sport, and also that place will provide the city good opportunities to make them more vivid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And in which way do you think your project, if it were to be built, can affect your city, like the configuration of your city? Do you think that the context or immediate surroundings of your city would change if your project were to exist?
Well, actually, from the very beginning, I have to say this project is very hard to be getting real, because I still need to face a lot of problems of the society and also the economy. But I think this design have a good view of the three strategic goals. That's one, to meet the need of the existing residents, and another is to continue the existing urban activities, especially the local people, the special activities of the local people. And the third is I hope to build the new urban activity to attract more residents to move to our city. So therefore, such a large-scale design, I think it can effectively improve the life of the local residents, and also at the same time, it will extend the urban memory, and finally can make the living space better, and also to help on the revival of the city. Because now, as we know that many cities, it will be declining, but I think the design can help the city to make them to make them to be more attractive.
Mm-hmm. So do you think your project would also bring economic and political benefits from it, besides from social benefits?
Yes, of course. I think it's a reason why I started my work, because I think as urban design is not only talk about how good the building is or how the function it can be, but the more important thing is how it can help society and also help on the economic. And also I think from the very beginning, it just have some little steps for the people can live better, and it will affect more and more place and also more directions of the city's development.
And what inspired you to do this project? I know you already told us this is your hometown, and you used to cross this as a child and you used to go there. And I think that's where your inspiration came from, but I want you to tell us where your inspiration came from.
Okay, I think the first is about the wedding. Why I want to do this, because that way I said that is my hometown, my emotional feeling of the place. And the second, I think some technology things, although some other people's ideas that inspire me, and we all know that is the Highline Park. Even the name, I'm trying to change the Highline Park to the Low Line Sports Park. And for me, then the Highline Sports Park is not only on the design to inspire me, because actually the design ways we use a totally different design idea, and also the situation of the city is totally different. But what inspires me more is that the people they are trying to the designers and also the local people, they are trying to not ignore what happened in their city. They are trying to use their own ways to help the city to be better. As the people, everybody becomes like a volunteer to do some works and to have their own ideas to make it better. So I think that their story touched me, and also I hope their story can touch other people on my hometown and can make this project to become true.
And I'm sure it will. And I'm sure it will touch also our followers' lives, and they're going to be so inspired by your project and Enrique's project and Narita's project. All of you brought so many interesting ideas today to the table, and thank you so much for being here. To all of you, for answering my questions and for taking the time to share with us and our followers all your insights, your knowledge, and your beliefs. So I want to thank you once again for being here, to congratulate you, because I'm here with winners. So I'm honored to be here with you today. And I hope we can see you again, and maybe, who knows, here in maybe 20 years, you're going to be star architect, all of you, and you're going to be super famous, and I'll be the one who got to have an interview with you. So thank you guys for being here and giving me the opportunity to talk with you and listen to you and learn so much from you.
And also our pleasure to have this interview and to talk those interesting issues with you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alexandra.